Good Samaritan is found in Luke 10 I'll start reading from verse 30. A certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho, fell among thieves who stripped him of his clothing, wounded him, and departed, leaving him half dead. Now, by chance, a certain priest came down that road, and then he saw him, and he passed by on the other side. Likewise, a Levite, when he arrived at the place, came and looked and passed on the other side. But a certain Samaritan, as he journeyed, came where he was. When he saw him, he had compassion. He bandaged him, he helped him. Kampeleka kwa inn. Yeah, so we know that part of the story. So we're referring to what we're saying in town, how we shy away from the spirit of the Good Samaritan, yet it's the right thing to do. Yeah?
So hiyo story si inatuonyesha siku hizi hata sisi tunajipata. Unaona watu wenye wametajwa hapo, priests, Levites,
Christians,
exactly,
church going people, us guys.
In short, sisi. Like ina explain ama inatuonyesha, ama inatufungua macho vile siku hizi tumekuwa even as a society, ama sema tu people are believers huku nje, by the siku hizi unapata msia anajua Christ na anaoki jani, but nikaa tuna repeat the same thing again, unaona, because of your fear. Sasa kama Good Samaritan angekuwa nako kauoga ati kama maybe wana plot kitu niende hivi naye pia mimi niwekwe chini, unaona, ingekuwa aje kungekuwa na such an inspiring story yenye we can learn from. So kitu pia tunafaa tujichunguze sana.
Unafaa kustand na values zako regardless.
For sure, because sasa Levites,
priests,
God said,
if it's helping, just help regardless of what people will say.
And I think one thing that's important is there has to be that identity within. I was feeling when Levi was talking earlier, if you're true to your identity, then you don't care what people say.
Sure.
You know, there was a verse that we referred to earlier, to not conform to the ways of the world. So if we are walking and I'm feeling like I want to help, but I'm scared what you guys will say, it means I'm conforming to the ways of the world. But my identity is not strong enough for me to say that I can help because it's the right thing to do. And my value is for someone I want to be someone who's helpful, despite what everyone thinks and says. Yeah. And then back to what you said, Colleen, about how we also want to be the light. In a dark world, that's what makes me a light. The fact that out of what everyone was not willing to do, I chose to do it as much as it was against the grain, of what people would normally do.
Being part of the Babylon.
Yeah. And I think as Christians, we're also being held at a very, at a certain position that people are looking at us. So if you're a Christian and you say this is your value, and you don't stand by that value, it creates a whole thing of you Christians, the church, So it's also very delicate, and I think that's a place where God really needs to help us as Christians, as a church, because if we stand by certain values, which most of them are actually biblical, even the integrity, the genuineness, the being honest and being true to yourself, most of them we borrow them from the Bible. Actually, they emanate from the Bible. Even hardworking, and it's from the Bible. So if we are to do that, it means, and if we are to deviate from that, it actually means that we actually don't even follow the script that we should be following. Like, so why are we Christians if we can't follow what we are supposed to do? Yeah. So I think for us Christians, it's very delicate. It's very delicate. Yeah. God atusaidie.
I feel like hata ile point ya Koki yenye alisema about family. Family that is led by Christ. Of course, vile watalia mtoi, values wata instill kwake, zitakuwa biblical as well.
Godly offsprings.
And as you're speaking, Moriko, I've just realized, one thing that differentiates a Christian from a corporate? The corporate is intentional. which is very sad. Because if you think about it, corporate will tell you every quarter we must do a CSR. Why don't I as a Christian have that?
There's actually a verse that says, bring to account what you have done. Let me look for that verse. Bring to account, continue as I look for that.
Yeah, because I feel like that's where we fall short as Christians. So it's very easy. There's something I call Christianese, where we speak to each other. Yeah, praise God again. Yes, the Lord will help us, my brother. Yes. Son of Adonai. Yes, the Lord will help us. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But in saying that, we have not been intentional to want to help. Yeah. Like one of the things I'll tell you guys that God taught me, I think earlier this year, I don't know, it's Pasi, you can tell us the verse that talks about fasting in Isaiah. Is it 54 or 60? Yeah, it should be 54. One of the things that you're expected to do while you're fasting is to give.
It helps.
Did you guys know that you have to give? And you realize the church will tell you fast, don't eat, don't drink, but it won't tell you the next step of give. So I realized for me, since I learned that principle, every time I'm intending to fast, I'm intentional. Who are the people within, if it's a week fast, who are the people within this week that I'm going to help? So it becomes a part of, I'm not eating, I'm not drinking, but I'm giving. Yeah. So I feel like sometimes as Christians, because we're not intentional about it, now we are half, we're doing half, but then kuachia Mungu kazi mingi. The Lord will help me. In fact, the Lord will answer my prayer. Yes, stand with me in prayer. But okay, do we challenge each other as Christians? Okay, you're fasting, Colina, so who are you helping?
Our pastor used to tell us, Pastor Jimmy says, there's a time he was saying, when you're fasting, that lunch you're supposed to eat, go and give someone else. The lunch, hiyo money umesavingi ya lunch, kama ni 100 kila siku, by the end of the week, 700, give to someone else. Hiyo lunch ulikuwa umepangia, si yako ya kusave, ati umesave juu na fast. Give to someone else. That is basically the whole point of just fasting and helping others.
Yeah.
How, guys, do you think we can be able to, because as we are discussing, realize values are very important. And somehow they have been lost in this generation. But how can us, who then are enlightened, how can we then be able to foster or be able to encourage Ama to be able to, strengthen our values, or even encourage other people to hold on to their values?
It begins with us, baby. Yes. Jisi pia tukijiekea wataona hii ndio mwangaza. No, that's why tunaambia sisi ndio the lights, ndio. We have to guide them, to show them. Essential ni plus light pia ni kama itakuonyesha, okay, kumbe sifai kufanya hivi, kumbe sifai kudanganya, unaona? Because one of the values that I have ni excellence. Excellence, unaona, with job, kama supervisor wangu amesema ni hivi na ni hivi, hivyo ndo nafanya. Sawa. But then utapata some people wako like, kwa mjanja, sasa unaweza fanya hivi. Unaona, if I compromise and choose to go that way, unaona, sasa hawata get the sense of he knows why anataka tufanye hivi na hivi. And you'll find out sasa, maybe if I'm to guide someone else, naweza mguide vile supervisor alikuwa anaona. Hivi ndio tunafanya based on the company, based on the organization. Hivi ndio inafaa iwe, and they have a reason why maybe they went through a lot. Wakakuwa like, hii ndio ina work. And hii ndio nataka mwenye anafunza afunze mwingine. But sasa tukianza kuleta ujanja, si uko mjanja, leta hivi. So wao wengine watakuwa like, ndio sasa unapata the laziness, wako like, acha tabuza kidogo, ama wacha tuiweke tutafanya 1 hour later, si tunaweza fanya hivi na hivi. Unaona? So if I choose not to follow, not to bring excellence based on vile supervisor amesema hivi ndio nataka iwe, this is the idea of excellence in this matter or something of sort. How will they know? How will they know? Mimi nitajiekea, nitaka like, alafu mimi sasa nitaanza compromise kwingine, nitaka like, nilete ka ujanja hivi, yet this is what I need to do.
And maybe what would you say is your another value? that you have?
Being courteous,
Yes.
polite and respectful.
Yes.
I agree with you. You're very
Yeah.
polite. Your value is showing.
So special shout out to my dad. Sam.
Good job, Dad.
Thanks, Daddy.
Thanks, Dad. For me, he has been a role model. Ikifika kwa hizo vitu, how calm he is, and I feel mina feeling niko blessed by the way. But mzazi mwenye anafuata Christ na alichagua tuonyeshe hivi na hivi. Kitambo alikuwa like hiyo si yetu, maybe if a secular song is playing kwa TV hivi, you know, maybe we're watching something news hivi, uko like alafu una try kuham, you know, you don't know, wewe ni mtoi, uko like hey, hii beat iko catchy, uko like unaanza kuisema, uko like hapana, hiyo si yetu. And I never got to understand hiyo si yetu kivivi, like as a family ama what exactly. Unaona? So later on I got to understand hivyo ndo ameamua yeke Christ ndo ana lead. And so according to Christ hiyo si yetu na si yetu. So watu wangu watagrow kijua hiyo si yetu. So in one of the things zingine ni hiyo sababu vile anaji present kwa wengine. You know, maybe at times you got a chance to walk to and maybe kwa kinyozi, and we'll see how he will speak to people, and I'm like there is nothing to lose from you know,
Being kind,
being kind, being polite, being respectful. And vile squeeze unasikia masculinity and all those things vitu zinakuwa
toxic.
Exactly. So unapata so mambo na politeness na respectfulness ilienda wapi? Unaona, so
bado iko hapa. Yes. Bado iko hapa.
Shout out to my dad. Mzee,
that's amazing.
Vile amenilea ndio vile ningependa kulea mtoto wangu. So
That's nice.
and as well I believe being that ameweza kuinstill hii kwangu to my brothers, inaanza from hapo, unaona, you and you what to interact now. So again tukiamua kujiekea hii mwangaza watajuaje?
And I wanted to say like light attracts, you know. Uwezesha stima pahali msi akose kunotice imewaka.
That's true.
You know,
kama kagiza kakwamie pale kwa kona amesinzeni.
Ana Bible inasemanga like Jesus is the light, like darkness cannot comprehend it, you know. So being a light utawaka hata kushinda hiyo darkness. So that's why like it will start to each individual. When I become a light, I will attract someone else to my light, and that's how to expand light to the world, you know. So change starts with you as an individual.
Leo niko na maswali.
Uliza.
Some hiyo ya light as well, to add to the light is, you see, when you're shining, people might not know what it is that attracts. They'll be like, you're different. You're different. So they will actually, you're actually helping someone understand. So in that way, it's also a part, maybe one of the evangelism, because people will be like, wait, what? And they're like, oh, you know what? Kuna Christ. So come beside, you know, so you draw them because of actually the good qualities that they can actually see. But sometimes seeing something is way stronger than you just telling them. You tell them, I am polite, you know, I have integrity and whatever. They're like, you know. But if they actually see, like you see, like he's polite, as you said, it can actually, he's actually probably like, oh, okay. So if you have a younger brother, like, go stay with Levi Kidogo and learn
a few things.
Maybe to add on what Muriko is saying, your idea, a question is being brought up. Anytime light in a mulik, like there is the emulation of light, unajua utaget kuona, okay, kuna ka uchafu hapa, kuna ka uchafu hapa. Kama kuna giza, you won't know that the table is dirty, you know, something of sort. You wouldn't know, maybe umekati, maybe you can feel something, but you wouldn't get to see it.
What's happening?
Unaona? But when kuna your light, there is a clear vision. Unaona? And so for someone who doesn't understand what this light is, lazima tauliza. By the way, ni aje uko hivi. Ni aje uko hivi, and that's where sasa una is a Christ. So again, lifestyles lazima zikuwe a way of evangelizing. It's so important because hadi nikiwa uni the moment that I chose to be intentional with my journey with Christ, my friend group wali notice real quick. Walikuwa like, napenda vile unaabudu Mungu wako, napenda vile unapendaga Christ huyo Mungu wako mazee. Yani siku hizi unaona something so noticeable. And of course it will impact so many people. Watakuwa like vile nani anapendaga Christ hadi mimi nataka. Unaona? So yes, the light ni muhimu sana. It's so important for us to present Christ in such a manner.
We are walking Bibles.
Oh yes, we are. All right, so that was a good one, guys.
Yes.
Over to the next.